Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2024. Here in Farming in Africa, we are starting the year on a very, very, very interesting note. I am at the famous Semanhyia L&D farm here in Brekum, a municipality in the Bruno region of Ghana. I am on this farm that has inspired a lot of you out there to even venture into livestock farming, into goat farming to be specific. And I believe you've journeyed with us all these years. You've seen our growth. You've seen the challenges. We've been as vulnerable and as transparent with you as possible, just so you would understand the realities of goat farming or even livestock farming. I have here with me today the CEO of Farming in Africa, the owner of Semanhyia Farms, popularly and affectionately known as Fred. I dare say Happy New Year to you.
It's still a happy new year because there's more to come. Yeah.
All right. So I understand that farming in Africa starts this year on a bit of a sad note. I wouldn't want to spill the tea myself because your followers are here and they want to hear everything that is happening. So please take us to the beginning of what you've heard, what this issue is about, and let's see.
So I think the long and short of the entire story is that the community that we have our farm in, which is Nasi, and Brekum, which is the municipal, has asked us to move our goats from this community in 2 weeks' time. So the Semenshia farm that we all know, and as you rightly said, has been an inspiration to most of us, has a lifespan of 2 weeks, and that's the long and short version of it. So we are being asked to leave.
Did you say 2 weeks?
Yes, we've been asked to leave in 2 weeks. We're already in our first week, so we have about a week more to decide either we're going to sell off all our goats or um, relocate, but not possible to relocate 200 goats in a week. So at the moment, yeah, we are still uncertain on what we're going to do next, but yeah, that's what we're looking at.
I believe your audience is wondering why the sudden development, why this sudden command to relocate in 2 weeks. What is the reason behind this command to relocate such a huge investment in a space of 2 weeks?
So as most of you are aware, every community, every country, every village has its own rules and regulations, customaries, and in this specific area, goat farming is a taboo. It's been a taboo since day one, but it's a taboo like most taboos that have been overlooked. I grew up here, and even though we know, for example, dogs some point, not at some point, dogs are a taboo in this community, but we all have dogs. I grew up with a dog. As far as goats are a taboo, but we've always have goats. I grew up with goats. There were goats in this community everywhere. Um, but recently, my team got in touch and said that there had been an announcement for everybody to, take their goats from this town in 3 days. Most of us thought, okay, maybe this is not right. This is a bad rumor or whatever. But in 3 days, we had guys came into the community and actually slaughtered all the goats in the community. Took some away, left some, did what they wanted with it. And the following day, we also heard that it was a command for goats that were roaming randomly. I think the chief of Brekum had passed away and there was a funeral that was coming up. So they didn't want goats being roaming around in the community. So that was the sense we took because nobody came to our farm. Officially, we haven't been called or invited or served as a notice. And our farm is also not, it's all fenced and
Yeah.
contained. So we're like, okay, then we are safe. Till recently, when we were invited to the palace after about 3 months and asked to leave as well. So that came as a shock for us in December. And we've been trying to talk to the chiefs and invite them to come and see the amount of investment and what we are doing here.
Okay.
And impact we are making here, and if there could be something we could do to navigate this issue. But we've tried all means, and it seems not to be working. So
Wow.
what we've been asked to do is to basically leave. I don't know what leave means. Leave with the goats or leave with the structures. Yeah.
All right. So I'm very interested in something you said that even though you have certain taboos in this community, like dogs are a taboo on this land, goats, but you grew up having dogs around. You grew up seeing goats around. Um, Now I want to ask, what do you think sparked this sudden enforcement of the taboo in this land? Because if you grew up here, then it's even right to say that the taboo had been overshadowed in a way. So what specifically sparked this sudden enforcement of this taboo right here in this land?
I think, taboos and some traditions, as we grow and develop civilization, it tends to fade away. But at the end of the day, it depends on the custodians of the land, which is the chiefs and the queen mothers and elders of the communities. In our case, I think not a specific reason has been given, but I think it's coming from belief, and belief is mostly also comes from fear, the fear of the uncertainty. I think in our tradition, the fear of the gods and the implications of going contrary to the gods. Um, the question is why now? And that's what we all ask ourselves, because as I said, I grew up here and I grew up having goats around. We will eat goats. We still eat goats. Um, I was actually engaging with one of the butchery shops in Brekum, and I asked them, like, "Are you guys still killing goats?" And they say, "Yeah, they are very expensive now." That was yesterday, and I asked him, "Oh, so how many goats are you killing now every day?" He says about 20. And I was like, "So you bring them from somewhere, you kill them in this community?" And he said, "Yes." And I was like, "Okay, but why now?" It's the thousand question that we are all asking ourselves. But I think it's coming from belief, it's coming from fear, it's coming from implications of that fear to people in power, and that is why they are being pushed or influenced to do this. Yeah.
Wow. So when I first heard of this whole issue, my first thought was, could it be that you've been singled out to be attacked? I mean, it's a thought that it can occur to anybody looking at what you are doing. And I believe you are the one doing this goat farming on the largest scale in this community, at least. So, can you clear that notion for us? Do you think you've been singled out to be attacked, or other people have been affected as well?
That's a very easy thought to have, considering how they are dealing with us. But unfortunately, I don't think so, because it is a movement that started even before they got to us. So, as I said earlier, they actually came to the community and slaughtered a lot of goats, right? But I think my thought is when they thought about this, they never knew that there was such a big project like this. When you think about goat farming, you think of people having 5, 6 goats in their backyard. So if the Snasi community did know, but I don't think the Queen Mother and the elders in Brekum knew the magnitude of the project we were doing here. But that being said, it was a taboo thing that they are running. So it's not a single out thing. If anything, we are actually the last people that now they are dealing with, because the rumor was all around, but they've officially reached out to us just a few days ago to do this. So I don't think we are being singled out. I think it's a decision that the elders of the community have taken, and we do respect that. And after all, the land is theirs. What we hope to achieve is try to reason with them that what we've done here is not something you can just pick and drop somewhere in 2 weeks, and that is the issue we are trying to resolve at this moment.
Wow. At least if you were thinking like me that, oh, Fred has been singled out to be attacked, it's not like that. Other people who were also into goat farming, even though on a small scale,
Yep.
were affected. In fact, if your animal was just grazing out there openly, you were not doing a contained kind of farming, unfortunately, those ones have even been slaughtered and taken away from this land. Now, I understand you grew up here. You are an indigene of this land.
Yep.
So it made me feel maybe you could have been treated in a somewhat different way.
Yep.
I believe when you heard this command, you took certain initiatives to try and not take advantage, but just because of the relationship you have with the leaders of this
Yep.
land, you might have been treated kindly, especially with the time frame you've been given to relocate.
Yep.
How has that initiative been so far?
Yeah. I mean, we've tried a lot to engage. We've tried to meet with the Queen Mother several times. She's a very busy woman, so the amount of times we've tried, we failed. But we have been directed to basically the person she has put in charge of what is called this operation, and we've been engaging with him several times. To the point of actually bringing him here to see the work we've done, which obviously he wasn't expecting something like this. The amount of investment, the size of the farm, the foreign breeds that we have here, and all that. So, we've tried to engage with them, and but to them, tradition is tradition. They hate goats, and goats needs to go. So we need to adhere to that tradition, but the issue is the timing. And you're right. I was hoping that even them seeing this could give us some time, for us to work with. Because, as I said before, if these goats don't roam, if we take them to any community and we are not properly established, we are going to cause a lot of issue in that community as well. So the time we are buying is not even a time for us to sit around, but a time for us to prepare our next move. Because in 2 weeks we can grow our feed, we can put our structures in place. Um, Even to transport over 200 goats in 2 weeks is again another issue. Fencing an entire land,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, than to talk about the capital, the unbudgeted revenue or capital that we need now to go and invest into wherever we go next, or even if we decide to go somewhere else. I mean, it's something I wish they would consider
Yeah.
all these things and work along with their timeline.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's about the timeline because if you followed if you followed farming in Africa, especially Semanhyia L&D farm for a while, you have a fair idea of how much has been invested into this farm. We are talking of the existence of foreign breeds of goat from South Africa. Right behind us, we see the Kalahari Red, we have the Boa goats, we have the savannah over here as well. And at least one costs not less than $1,500, I understand.
Yeah.
So this is huge. And all we are asking for at this time is some reasonable amount of time to be able to relocate,
Yeah.
to be able to put our thoughts together
Yeah.
and see the next step forward. But as an indigene of the land again,
Yeah.
I want to believe that you've made some kind of impact on this community. You know, there is that humane part of us
Yeah.
that always makes us feel, okay, I can treat you in a different way.
Yeah.
So I want to know what impacts have you made in this community? That is aside the Sementia farm.
Yeah.
Yes, what impact have you made here?
I think, we all as human, in our small ways try to contribute. To me, I hold this community very dear, to my heart, because this is where I was raised, right? Even though I was born in Accra, this is where I was raised, and I think this community made me who I am today. All the lessons, the moral lessons, I started my primary school from here, junior high from here as well. So when I had the chance to study abroad, right from there, I knew that education is the way to, elevate us from poverty. So I actually, the first school I built here was for the government, so a Roman school. So I built a 3 classroom block for the government school. Then went ahead to build another school, which is now educating like almost 700 students in this community. And the farm idea actually came from the school. You know, it was something to feed the school with. So, yeah, I think it started on a good note. The note was, how do we continue to bring development in this country, right? In this community, and you know, like I was as reflecting on some of these things, the development and what projects like this bring. Let's say, for example, later 2023, you know, I started constructing the biggest goat pen in the whole of Africa. I'm still in the process of finishing that, and that is such a huge loss. At the moment where it is, I have actually spent more than 500,000 on that project. And the way I look at it is, Snasi is a very small community. That 500,000 that I spent in less than 2 months, within a short period, went directly into that community. That money went into the carpenter's pocket, went into the mason's pocket, went into the laborer's pocket, went into various people that sold things for us to be able to build that. And that money then left their pocket into different people. So in this small community, in 2 months, had 500,000 within us that we were moving around as a community. I don't think that happens every day in this community. And that's what brings development, right? This farm here, I've invested millions of cedis, and I never bring anybody from Accra to come and what, take care of the goats or build our structure, or I don't buy my things from Accra unless we don't have it here. So all these millions of cedis that I've invested into this farm were invested into the community, and people's life got better because of that. So that's what initiatives and projects like this bring. But if we don't look at those things and we decide to stick only with the tradition, then we as a community are also not going to develop. And to me, that is big, because even if we do relocate in a month, in 3 months, in 1 year, we are not only relocating our goats, but we are relocating our investment. We're relocating money that we pump here, even if it's on a monthly basis. About 7 people are going to lose their job as well, right? So that is why I felt like the magnitude of it could have been considered, because it goes beyond just my business, but the impact and the contribution it brings into the community, right? And I think, to me, that's also painful. Yes, I will lose this farm, but I think the community also stands a chance of losing as well.
Oh, this is a tough and bitter pill to swallow. Livelihoods are going to be affected, which is one thing that didn't even easily occur to me, because we're all about, oh, this investment, these expensive animals. But yeah, we have people managing the farm, their livelihoods. These are fathers, these are husbands. These are people who need money to survive. And you know, we usually say traditions must be upheld, traditions must go on. But I think for the first time in my life, I'm going to say a tradition can be a huge blockade. It really can be a huge blockade. So, with this 2 weeks ultimatum you've been given, how how much of it left do you have, Fred?
So, I mean, we are in the first week, so we are looking at one more week to be able to make a decision. And it's either we sell off. Relocation, I don't think is possible. There's no way. If if they still are not able to give us time and stick to the 2 weeks, then there's nothing we can do than to sell off this farm and shut it down,
So
basically.
you are saying of the 2 weeks you've been given, you've almost exhausted a week, so you're left with 1 week.
Yeah.
Do you have negotiations going on with the traditional rulers of the land?
Um, yes, we've had 2 meetings trying to push for more time, but all those has not yielded any results. I think the last meeting we had, they said they were going to call us back, but they still haven't. So we are waiting to see if they will call us back and any action will be taken.
I see. Semanhyia L&D farm. But if there is one thing we know about Fred is that he doesn't give up. He started this farm not on this magnitude, and here we are. So once again, I would like to ask you, worst case scenario,
Yeah,
if traditional rulers don't budge
yeah.
and we eventually have to move from here, is that going to be the end of our dear Sementia farm? Are you just going to fold up, Fred? Please say something to your audience, your followers, because we still have this aim, this vision of revolutionizing livestock farming in Africa,
Yeah,
and this can't be the end.
yeah,
So please say something to us who are cheering you on. That's no, this can't be the end. What's the next goal, Fred?
yeah. Obviously, no. I think, all this comes from a huge passion that we have for livestock and goat farming. So I don't think this is the end, but we will definitely need some time to restructure, put ourselves together, and find a community that loves us, that wants us to be there, and that is willing for us to start something, and then we will start again. It's not gonna be easy because a lot of these investments you can move it away. The goats, I'm sure we can sell them off, and start again a whole new breeding program. But do you, what do we do with this wire mesh, this woods, this roofing shades?
The facilities.
Exactly, the facilities,
Yeah.
the water source, the electricity, like the feed that we have here.
Yes.
It's gonna take a lot for us to get to another level. So I don't think we will give up, but in case this doesn't work out, we'll have to take a step back and restructure and decide what our next move is gonna be.
Wow. At least if there is one positive thing I've taken from it, that this is not going to be the end of what we do when it comes to the practical farming here in farming in Africa. And that I like what you said. We eventually might move to a place that is more hospitable of us and our animals,
Yeah,
and then we'd continue.
yeah,
But in the meantime, I want to emphatically assure our following, our audience, that education would still be churned out. This is what we are known for. And we are fighters. So they should still stay tuned for more because as we speak, it's still unraveling. The whole story is still unfolding. So we are going to continue to provide you with updates of how things are going. So if somebody is watching out there, I would want you to talk about what to look out for
yeah,
if you want to venture into livestock farming
yeah,
because you've inspired a lot of minds out there.
yeah,
And please tell us
yeah,
with this whole experience,
yeah,
because life is a journey, we
yeah,
are
yeah,
still learning.
yeah,
What would you tell anybody watching us now? At least some of the things to look out for
yeah,
when they want to venture into livestock
yeah.
farming.
I mean, I think the first thing is do not let this discourages you. I think it's a mistake I've learned. Wherever you go to look for your land, or if you already have a land, make sure before you invest such infrastructures, permanent infrastructures, you do ask them the question about, is this what you guys want? Would you guys come back tomorrow and say no to me? Because once you put it in, you can take it out again. So, yeah, do your research, ask the right questions, speak to
Yeah,
the chiefs,
yeah,
work with the community more on that. I think I took advantage of it because I'm from here
yeah.
and maybe didn't work with the community as close as I should have. But in other ways, it's like, you know, yeah, so do your research, carry the community and chiefs along with you as you do it so that, they know what your intentions are before you buy the land and you have their support as well. But don't let this discourage you. It doesn't change the profitability of it, the fun in it, the excitement and challenges that you have to deal with. Just do your hard work, and I think once you are secured and are at a place where you are accepted, then you're good to go.
You're good to go. Don't let this discourage you. We started this interview, and I remember telling you that we've been as transparent and as vulnerable with our audience and our following as much as we can. We bring you the good, the bad, the hard, the difficult, the fun, and they're easy in goat farming or livestock farming. So that's why we are carrying you along on this story as well. I think I would want to wrap it up at this point because I have mentioned it's still unfolding. But I want to ask Fred, how do you feel about all this? I know it could be a mixture of emotions, but run us through the gamut of emotions you've been feeling till now. Yes.
Um, I think it's been a step by step. Because in the beginning, when I heard this, I was like, "Oh, really? Why now? Okay, let's see how it works." And then I heard a story about killing, and I was very worried. I was like, "That's not fair. That's people's livelihood. Is is there anything we can do? Can the gods hear us? Because the gods are there for us, right? I mean, do they want us to suffer? No. Can is there a way we can work with them? You know, I mean, we,
Can the gods hear us?
exactly. Because it's like God. Like we also pray to God when we're in trouble, and we believe God is there to protect, to make us, all those things. So yeah, and then that moment was like sadness, and then when my mom then got invited to the palace and came to tell me, then it was a shocking moment because I was like, really? And then my reality is like, okay, maybe they don't understand, they don't know, they don't have a full picture of what is going on here. Let's bring them on board and show them what is going on. So we came here with the chiefs. They saw it. Obviously, they had a bit of pushback. Like, okay, this is not small. But then they went back to say, we've given you 2 weeks. And I was like, what? 2 weeks? Like, what are you expecting me to
After being
do?
impressed with what they saw.
Exactly. What are you expecting me to do to take in
Yeah.
2 weeks? So then that shock sort of came in again. I was like, okay, but it was also a bit of disappointment at the end because I felt like we weren't working together. Because if we were working together, then we should look at, okay, what do you need to do to be able to get? Even the gods, I think, will understand that there is something going on. Even if it is like, it's not like, okay, I won't leave.
Yeah.
It's like, gods, you know how many goats I have here. I know you hate it,
Can
but
the gods hear us?
yeah, but it's I have to move these goats.
Yes, it will take a
Yes,
while.
I have to do certain things to move them.
Yes.
So, but that's I guess where the disappointment comes in, that we are not working together to protect my investment,
Yeah.
my livelihood, and so at this point where I am is more of a disappointment of the time frame that we have to do this.
Wow, it's been a roller coaster ride for Farmer Fred. But like you said, we would bounce back. We would definitely bounce back. We would continue to churn out the educational content we are known for and even bring you other interesting stuff within the year. The year has just started. And for me, that is what I think I would dwell on. This is one more obstacle to cross over. And then let's see how the year goes. So, guys, I want to thank you for staying with us. And it's still unfolding. We would continue to bring you updates. And that is the more reason why you should hit the subscribe button if you've not subscribed to this channel. And if you have subscribed, please go a step further, hit the notification bell, because if you are like me and you are interested in just like this, you have to follow us to the very end. For all you know, who knows? The gods might hear. Fred said, "Can the gods hear us?" Who knows? The gods might hear our plea this time. So please, if you've not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button as well. We are on Facebook. We are on TikTok. Farming in Africa. Please do the right thing and let's go through this together. So thank you once again. See you next time with the other updates as the story unfolds. Thank you, Fred.
Thank you very much, Nadia.